web was a problem to me. And so there's two things that I wanted to do with it. One, if you take a look at the way that had been done all the way up to the point that I came onto it, it was straight lines, like 2 or 3 straight lines, and then they put X's in it. You know, so it was like a netting. It was more like a netting. And it was functional as long as you were drawing a panel left or right or going backwards. But where it never worked was if you wanted to shoot towards camera. And a couple guys tried it, and the line just got bigger, and the X's just got clunkier, and it just was like, are you kidding me? So I wanted to try and come up with something that could actually move, not only move towards camera, but you actually believe that it was webbing. And so Tom DeFalco, who's editor-in-chief, although he denies it, I was just talking to him recently, going, I never called it spaghetti webbing. He did it. He's Italian, and he called me in his office one day because I got clarity on this one where he went, stop drawing that darn spaghetti webbing thing that you're doing. And I was like, yeah, that's it. I got a name for it. So it's actually a very good name because for people out there who aren't comic book fans, that's what it looks like now. So when he hits the button, it's almost like, remember when we were kids, we had the Play-Doh and you squeeze it and like little strands come out? Well, take that on a smaller level and about 6 or 7 come out, but 3 or 4 of them go like this, and then 2 of them go and they wrap around it, almost like creating like a rope right on the spot, except for it's a lot more loose or something like that and a little gooier. And so what it allowed me to do now is that given that those strands were actually, I had to draw each one. I mean, if you take a look at some of my artwork, like the last thing I did on every page was to do those darn webbings.
There's a possibility that people have the impression I might be a better comic book artist than my father was or is, which is all opinion. But my father's an artist that I will never, ever approach talent-wise. I saw him do stuff. I've seen the stuff that he did when he was 19 that I can't do now.
I tell you, my son and I have come from a type of artist that isn't satisfied with their own work. It's an inside joke with us. If he thinks he can't live up to my stuff, he should know how far short I fall of my own impressions of what I should be doing.
John Romita Sr. he's the Gene Kelly of the comics industry. I don't know, if you get a chance to meet him, he's the most charming, self-deferential man you'll ever meet in your life. He is a brilliant artist, and he will never, you wouldn't know it to talk to him. John brought a style into Marvel. I mean, at the time, Marvel's style was, the house style was Kirby. And John came in and he had this sort of romance kind of style, much softer style than Jack, but it was perfect for Spider-Man because Spider-Man was about Peter and about, you know, Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane and that sort of soap opera kind of thing.
He's not an overpowering artist, but he repairs. He's such a great artist that when we worked together, I saw the differences in the pencils. He said he just traced over my stuff. He's full of it. He fixed it. It's his beautiful work over mine makes me look great, and how do you argue with that? It's a lot of work for him. And he worked hard on everything he did with me. And I didn't take offense to that, because you bow to his experience. But working with him is, you know, it's in the heart more than it's just on the paycheck. He's my hero, and he's my teacher, and he, you know, he's the greatest guy I ever met. Why not work with him? And it turns out that way on the paper.
John has a very different visual approach, much more cinematic than mine. Mine is more like you're in the living room with the characters and talking to them. His is cinematic. He has a cinematic design sense that he brings to the book that I never was able to do. A lot of people say they can see the similarities, but I don't think there's ever been a time when we sat down and tried to make it that way. He was always on his own. He always had a distinctive style.
The major part of comics, especially now, is storytelling. So that's the only similarity with my father, is the approach to storytelling. He taught me through example. I think of it in black and white, without the benefit of color or dialogue. How do you tell a story without those? And you know, you kind of rise to the occasion. And I would rather tell a story than draw the story. And naturally, I've got to draw, but storytelling is just so much fun.
John Romita Jr. is the world's greatest comic artist. Jack Kirby was the king. Johnny is the world's greatest comic artist because no one can do what he can do with the amount of versatility that he has. He can draw superheroes fighting better than anybody. He can draw 2 people talking at a bar better than anybody. He can draw a romantic scene better than anyone. He can tell a story better than anyone. He is just an all-around, absolute best guy there is.